This show is brought to you by Club W. Don't ever come home to a wine-free home again. Just go to clubw.com/Joey to get 50% off of your first order. That's right. Right now, Club W is offering our listeners 50% off of your first order when you go to clubw.com/Joey. The show is also brought to you by Ring. Go with Ring Video Doorbell, you're always home. Our listeners get free expedited FedEx shipping when you go to ring.com/church. That's ring.com/church. And the show is brought to you by Onnit.com. Go to Onnit.com and use code word church to get 10% off all of their great optimization products like Alpha Brain and New Mood.
What's up, you bad motherfuckers? Good morning. Uncle Joey, direct with his main man, Lee Syatt, ambassador to Jewish fucking enterprises. Monday, February 8th. It's a beautiful fucking day to be alive. Lee Syatt, talk to me, you bad motherfucker.
Oh my God, I had a crazy workout. We've been talking about doing other stuff to get my body like shocked, I guess, because I've been doing the elliptical for so long. And Steve Simone and his buddy brought me to the gym
big
yesterday.
guy, yeah, he's a great guy. Everybody says he's nothing but great things about him.
Oh well, there's Robert Obrist, the really big guy,
Right.
who this guy works with, Mike Pye. He owns Freakware. It's a bodybuilding company.
Okay.
And they brought me and I did squats. I've never done any of that, and it's scary.
What else did they have you do?
Well, we did squats. That was the majority of what we did. We did squats on the regular one, and we did like 5 or 6 sets of that. And then what really killed me though was I went up to like the highest that I could do, and then we went way down and did like 20 reps, which is really hard. And then we did like this circuit thing where some of us were doing dumbbell curls, the one where you raise the plate up to your side, and then when the one person was doing when you pull in, I don't know what. See, that's how.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's how.
Listen, man, you got as long as you did it and you went down there, and you did it with somebody who knows you
Right.
don't get hurt, and now you could do it on your own.
Yeah.
You do it a couple times.
Absolutely.
And now you could do it on your own. That's all that matters, because you really have to switch it up, you know?
I was telling them because they were being very nice to me, and they were like, "Oh, you're doing great" and all that, and I was like, I haven't been good at one single physical thing in my life ever, and so anytime anyone says something like that, like even in jiu-jitsu, when anyone gives me a compliment, I feel like they're messing with me a little bit, even though I know they're not. I've just always been terrible at so it's nice to get to be with people who are positive about it, and like you can actually have fun working. Like I used to think people were crazy when they said they had fun working out.
Anybody who knows anything about anything knows that the biggest compliment you could give yourself is when you go take care of yourself, is when you're a good friend to yourself. Everybody's always worried about other things. So there's a big understanding in the gym, jiu-jitsu, karate. If it's a real school and you're dealing with real people, they should come up to you after the class and look at you a certain way and go, "Hey, brother, it means a lot that you're here today, because I'm skinny and I'm in shape, but I look at you and I want to help you." That's a real thing. When I told you about Christy Miller's a comedian, a dear friend of mine from the Comedy Store that moved to New York. But Christy worked at the Gay Golds.
Oh, the
Hollywood,
gym, right? Okay.
And Christy was very nice to me. And you ever have those people that tell you need to work out without telling you? Christy was that person in my life. And before like Rogan would say it to me from time to time, but Christy was really the first person that said, "Hey man, I'm going to give you a free membership to Golds before I leave." And she gave me one. And it took me about a month to go down there. And I would go down there, and they were all gay men. Now, guys, I could handle myself. I think I can and whatever. When I got to that gym, I found a different type of love there. Yeah, every once in a while there was a creepy guy that came over and said something to me. But besides that, there were guys that were big guys. The bigger the guy, he'd come over and go, "Hey, man, I've been watching you. I'm really happy that you're here. And if you need any help, come over. I'll squat for you. I'll help you." That's when you know. That's what makes you go back to the gym.
It really, and it makes you go back, and it makes the time go by quicker. That's the worst part about the elliptical.
Here's the deal. I'm going to tell you a big secret
Okay.
that a lot of people don't know. when you do anything you don't want to do, the fun starts in your head. If there's anything I learned from Joe Rogan, is that he used to always tell me, have fun before you go on stage. I would look at that fucking, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And a million other comics. And a million people will tell you to have fun. And for years, I turned it into this mix match. Sometimes I would have fun. Sometimes I would be all businessy. Sometimes I would take it all serious. Nothing happens, especially when working out. And take it from me, man, I would go to that jiu-jitsu and dread it.
Yeah.
But on the drive, if I told myself I was going to have fun, like when you were a kid, to have that feeling that you were going to an amusement park or to a movie or some chick was going to let you see her titty, I take my mind there. And when I walk into those places now, it becomes fun.
Right.
It becomes fun before I walk in the door, which people don't do. People look at it as, oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, it's even me with the needles.
Absolutely,
Okay?
right.
For
Yeah.
35
your
years,
head, yeah.
I would work it up. Oh, my God, Lee. I could tell you on a hand how many times I went down to Waxlers. The first time I went to Waxlers
Right.
for a physical, I took the finger in the ass. I took the lung x-rays. I took the piss test. I took everything else. When it came time to take the blood, I got up and left.
Jesus.
And I talked myself into going back the following Monday. Like I walked, like you follow me? Like I was embarrassed. Like I walked down there and I said, okay, give it to me. So there's been times before that where I pulled up and I would leave. When I went for the sleep apnea, I walked in there like a Vietnam vet, dog. I wouldn't even talk to him. I kept saying, there better not be a needle involved. And he's like, there's no needles involved. All you have to do is take a sleep test. And so, but once I started looking at it with the music and nothing's going to happen, it's going to be fun, I just go down there now. I breathe and I walk in there, and no matter how fun it is, I start giggling.
Just out of like
I start giggling.
habit, yeah.
I start fucking giggling. You know, when I do those warm-ups at jiu-jitsu, sit-ups, listen, they make you do like 20 jumping jacks, which we've been doing jumping jacks all our lives, right? 20 jumping jacks, 20 squats, and then 20 push-ups. By the time you get to the sit-ups, the fourth exercise, you can't fucking breathe. So I figured out if I lay my head flat, I let my neck open.
Oh, yeah.
So it breathes. So I let that, and now I giggle. And there's sometimes I pull myself up, and sometimes I don't. But every time I go to a class, I pull myself up one more time. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm up to like 8 sit-ups now without just stopping, because then you start all over again. You go back to jumping jacks, back to sit-ups, back to push-ups, back to squats.
Oh, God.
Then you do triangles by yourself. Then you do something else. You do a fucking pretty good warm-up. And there's times I've been back there sweating my balls off. I'm going to be sweating my balls off today. It's 80 degrees here in L.A.
Oh, my, and especially in the gi. Do you find that you're not having to force yourself, like be in a good mood now for jiu-jitsu? Like for the first couple times, you probably had to force yourself.
Oh, my God.
But now,
always.
it just happens?
No, I know that every time that I go, I'm going to get better. I've learned from comedy that all you got to do is keep going. Keep going. You're going to get roughed up. Keep going. And the more you get roughed up, the better you're going to get at something. The more you get roughed up in the beginning, the more you say, fuck it, I'm quitting. That means you got to stay another day and watch what happens. Because I don't want anybody for at any time to look at me and go, oh, my God, he didn't work. Fuck you. There's one thing I did, and that's I worked on this shit. I worked on stand-up. I really, really knew that was the focus. Like sometimes when you realize that hip escapes are the focus of jiu-jitsu, you just want to do hip escapes all fucking day long because it's the backbone to jiu-jitsu. It's the backbone to your cardio. Could you imagine just doing hip escapes for an hour?
How come the backbone is never easy?
How long would it take you to be good if you did hip escapes for an hour, 3 times a week?
2 weeks.
You stopped,
2
you
weeks.
breathed,
oh
and
my
you
God.
did them again, and you stopped. I thought about that, just going to a gym one day and just doing sets of hip escapes until you die.
I'm sure if we went right now to John Budd and didn't even take the class, just said, "Can we just be over here? I'm going to do hip escapes until I puke."
He would die.
It'd be great.
1 hour of hip escapes. There's no better shape than that. And then after like 6 weeks, you just do 30 minutes of hip escapes and just roll for 30 minutes. You'll lose 100 pounds. If you look at it from that perspective,
Yeah.
12 weeks, 3 times a week, you did that, you would lose 100 pounds. If you just did your calorie thing on mycalorie.com.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine how many calories you'd burn doing that. And for people who don't know, it's A hip escape is you lay on your back and you're just pivoting your hips, I guess, up towards your head, and then you literally. The first time I saw it, I couldn't believe it, but you literally move up and down an entire floor just on your back, and it's killer.
Let's talk about something that's the obvious. It's the elephant in the room. Because even I fell asleep yesterday. I'm getting older, guys, and the plane rides are fucking killing me. They're fucking killing me, Lee. I could tell that I can't do 3 weeks in a row no more. I don't mind doing 2 weeks in a row, but then I got to take some time off.
At least you know, though.
I've cut my schedule down. I had to, Lee, because it affects the podcast. Sundays, I'm wiped. Like yesterday, I couldn't even think last night. Like my wife even said something to me last night. She goes, "Where you been all day?" I'm dead.
Jesus.
And this week I had the problem of insomnia.
Oh, you
So I
couldn't
kept
sleep?
waking up.
Oh.
Yeah, and they had a great shower. So I would just lay in the shower for 2 hours and let the hot water hit my face. And sometimes I would sleep. Sometimes I would just think of material. Sometimes I would just think of different things. I didn't really sleep well. I ate tremendous. One thing St. Louis has is good food and fucking cheap. Dog, like I said, I had some salmon with some wasabi. That motherfucker was solid, Jack. And the salad they were building me, nice lettuce, tomato with onions, delicious.
All at the hotel?
All at the hotel. I had a nice breakfast. I had a little corned beef hash with 2 eggs, wheat toast, and oatmeal. Light.
Very nice.
Very like a half a cup of oatmeal hash. Yeah, man. I'm trying to really get it back. I got to get down to 260. I got to make my head look really big, but it's weird. I got back from the thing yesterday about 10. I went home and I did my usual stuff. I got my laundry ready for the week and all that stuff. And then my wife came home and I played with the baby. And about 1:30, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it at 12 yesterday. I was ready to go to sleep, but I wanted to play with the baby a little while and joke around with her. And I took a nap around 1:30, and when I got up, the Super Bowl was already on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, my God. And when I looked at it, it was 10-0. Now, I knew it was going to be under. I knew it was going to be. People always say, "Oh, it was 2 great defenses." Listen, I got bad news for you. It takes a good offense to get to the Super Bowl, but it takes a better defense to get to the Super Bowl.
That's what they always say. Defense wins.
Defense wins championships. Oh, end the story. And what makes a good defense? These guys have been playing together, so they know each other's capabilities. They trust each other. It's not just a team that got built overnight.
No, Denver's been playing together for a couple. They're scary. Denver's defense is scary.
They're scary. That one guy on the end that kept
Von Miller.
No, the other guy, 94.
Ware. Maybe?
Yeah,
DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware is very scary. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, how didn't I see this? First off, this started in 1983.
This Super Bowl? Like, what do you mean?
Everything that happened yesterday culminated back to me from 1983. When I moved to Colorado in 1983, April 83, it was July, August, September. It was Elway's first season. By the way, the 30-30 was on the other night when I got home about the 83 draft with Kelly.
That was a great one.
And why Marino didn't get drafted. Marino was on blow, and everybody knew it. And the word had gotten out. But, I was in Colorado, and I would work during the week. But on the weekends, I would paint for VPM, Valley, whatever. And one of the guys would invite us over to his house. He was an original Colorado guy. Big jerk off. Not a bad guy, but he was a jerk off. He wore fucking those earth shoes. And
big jerk off.
He smoked a pipe, and him and his wife discussed how much weed they would smoke every week. I came from a different society at that time, but he was nice enough to have me and my buddy Jimmy Burkle, God rest his soul, to his house on Sundays, and we'd watch football. And I remember that this guy never played even hopscotch in his life. You could see that this guy had never played a sport in his life. And what really pissed me off every time I went to his house to watch a Bronco game is how much he would put Elway down.
He just hated Elway?
Yeah. Oh, my God. They hated fucking Elway.
Why? Wasn't
he
he
was
great?
A rookie, and they weren't, people expect all these high expectations of you when you first fucking started. Hold on. Let me hit this motherfucker.
That was speaking of that 30 for 30. That was crazy. Just the same agent had Elway and Marino.
So, every time I go over there, he'd throw a fit on Elway. And then Elway didn't win. And then one thing led to another. I never thought of Elway again. I went back to New York and started doing more drugs and, gave less of a fuck about football than I already did. And in '85, I moved back to Denver. And I don't know how I felt about the Broncos then. I don't know, whatever. It wasn't until I escaped Aspen, Thanksgiving of '86, that I went to Boulder with my now ex-wife. And I was at a mall one Sunday, and it was the Sunday when he went off against Cleveland, John Elway.
In '86.
In '86, and I said to myself, Jesus fucking Christ. That kid that everybody hated 4 years ago, look at him now, I was at the old Crossroads Mall. And listen, the TVs were on in the hallways, and everybody in the mall was watching. If you were going to rob that mall, it was then. It was amazing. Elway did the comeback, and he marched them from one side of the field to the other. It was brilliant to watch. And in the back of my mind, I was like, wow, the guy that this guy would put down, look at them. And a couple of weeks later, they were going to the Super Bowl against the fucking Giants. And I was living in Bolton. I was working in a car wash. I had just got a job at a car wash as a fucking shagger. You know what a shagger is, Lee?
No, it doesn't sound good.
Pretty much, they just piss and shit all over you. You got to wash cars for customers. You got to clean the bathrooms. You got to take people back to their jobs. After they drop their cars off, you do all shit work. And they would pay me nothing. It was $800 a month, and I worked 60 hours a week.
Jesus Christ!
The boss was from New York, and he was all excited about the Giants. And I remember going, wow, these people live here and they don't cheer for the Broncos. But was I wrong? I remember going to a Super Bowl party and them getting killed. The Giants killed them. Fucking Phil Simms went 23 for 25 against them. Phil Simms was the worst quarterback ever. And he has a legendary fucking game against them. They matched them up yesterday.
With Gary Kubiak, right? He was the backup for Denver.
So in '87, I used to go to a bar and get Coke across the street from my house.
Okay.
So they lose the Super Bowl, and for some reason, man, I lived there, and I wanted to I wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah, why not?
Then they went back again the next year, and they lost again. I don't know, against two. I can't sit here and tell you stats. But I still remember being in a bar in '87 on a Sunday across from where I lived, right before I got arrested for kidnapping, maybe weeks before I got arrested for kidnapping. And their special was the trout, almondine, delicious, with mashed potatoes and a salad and like a beer for $17.99 or something. I don't know what it was. And I remember being over there, and they kept yelling, put in Kubiak, put in Kubiak. So here's these two guys that in 1987 were losing and playing together. One was a quarterback, and the other one was his backup quarterback. And I guess the Broncos, I don't know, went on to lose 2 or 3 fucking Super Bowls. They were like the Bills before the Bills or during the Bills. It was either the Bills or the Broncos getting beat up. I don't know the history exactly. I'm not that much of a fucking sports buff, but I do know that they were bad. And then, again, I got into comedy more and more, and I forgot, and all of a sudden, I got invited to a Super Bowl party at some jerk-off's house here in Hollywood. And we went, and it was when they played Green Bay, and the Broncos won the Super Bowl. And John Elway was just phenomenal. I got to tell you, I cried. But it took him, I don't know how many 83 to I don't know when, to win the fucking Super Bowl. And in that thing, he lost 3 times, where guys like me would have quit. After I lost 3 Super Bowls, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I'm embarrassed to even show my face. I'd take my millions and buy a house with no windows, you know what I'm saying? And just to vent and have people bring me food. I wouldn't leave the house.
After 3 times, you would think so.
Is that what they lost, 3 Super Bowls?
I'll have to check.
I fucking don't know. It's either 3 or 4, something horrific.
That's crazy.
Like the Minnesota Vikings with Frank Tarkenton, Machine Gun Kelly.
To lose 3 times. Which one was the game where he did the helicopter? Like they hit him, and then he did the helicopter spin into the end zone.
Who, Elway?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He was so. It's crazy for me now with Brady because I can see him getting towards the end of his career. It must be like what you saw Elway from the time he was a rookie, and now he's the president of the Broncos.
From the fucking Broncos. So here it is. So here's these 2 guys that lost 3 Super Bowls together. And then ended up winning. What's not working?
Oh, no, I thought you... Okay. I can
no, I really want to see. I really want to tell this story to people because this is what I saw yesterday. I'm watching this going, wow, how the fuck did I miss this? If I would have remembered this, I would have sold this information. I would have told people, listen, the Broncos are a fucking lock, getting, given, whatever the fuck they're given, because let me tell you something. This has been building for 30 fucking years. So they took all their experience and they got one of the or the best quarterback in the league. You know, I love Brady, but it's the truth. They got one of the best or the best quarterback and they nurtured him. And even though the guy was fucking hurt, we discussed that.
Right? Yeah.
The guy was fucking hurt. They figured out a way how to win games, squeak by games, and then bring him back in game whatever 8. I don't
17. He was out for like a half the season. He's been hurt since when they brought him to Denver. They were like his neck might not be that great, but the defense was amazing. Like that was the difference, I think, because Von Miller was hurt last time they were in the Super Bowl. I hated Peyton Manning. I hated him as a growing up when he was with the Colts, but I was happy that that was how you're supposed to end a career. 200 wins, winning the Super Bowl. I was really happy.
It's amazing how him and his brother are both in the league. They're synonymous with NFL the last 15 years.
Oh,
when
my
you
God.
mention whatever their fucking names are, people from Tennessee are excited.
Yeah.
He owns that pizza company.
Oh, that pissed me off though. Did you see that?
What?
Literally the first shot after the Super Bowl is over is Peyton Manning kissing the Papa John's guy.
I didn't see that.
The
I
Papa
didn't
John.
watch, I didn't really watch the game. I left it on. I was playing with Mercy in the bedroom. I was writing. I would listen to it, and then I would go in and watch 2 plays. But I noticed that the defenses were on. Once I saw the defenses were on, I loved the under. And if anybody that's listening to this went to see me in Charlotte, I told you, motherfuckers, you never see a bookie with a part-time job. I didn't know about the fucking who was going to win the game. But I loved the under because Denver didn't get to where they got with him missing that much without a dominating defense. Dominating means that they break you. And then the shit quarterback that they do have, or the guy that's covering for Peyton, all he has to do is put up 2 scores.
Right, but the over under I think was like 55 when I saw it.
They were sucking you in. I knew the under.
I thought it was going to be over. I would have been over 1,000 times.
No, because first of all, the defenses were good. You're not going to be throwing the ball up in the fucking air because you're going to get picked off. You're going to get picked off. In the Super Bowl, you got to be careful with the air attack. It's got to be minimal and very... The quarterbacks that win the Super Bowl, Sims against the Broncos, 23 for 25.
You have to have an amazing...
Everything has to work right there. You can't... There's no room for... Because if you start getting intercepted and they read it, you're going to have a long day. If you look at the history of Super Bowls, who started getting intercepted early, that think that they fucking Air Coryell and start bombing at you. So I knew that Peyton Manning, he's 30, he's 40. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to go out there and throw a bunch of darts? No. I knew that it was going to be a 24-something game, 21-something. It was going to be somebody, and somebody wasn't going to get it together. Somebody was going to get shut down. I didn't know. I didn't tell you it was going to be a 43, 44 game.
I thought it would be at least 30-something.
No way. No fucking way.
Thank God I didn't bet.
Let's say Cam Newton went off.
Right,
Let's say Cam Newton threw 24 and Buddy threw 7 and they got a field goal. That's still under. And that could possibly be. And I looked at it from the other way. What if Cam Newton doesn't go off and Homie goes off? What's Homie going to go off for? 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Maybe 3.
They had 1 offensive touchdown for the majority of the game yesterday until the very end.
The Super Bowl is completely different. The Super Bowl is where your secret weapon always shines. There's a secret weapon that you don't see. When the fucking Giants played Buffalo that year is where you see the genius. I love seeing the genius of a fucking team. I don't like just seeing passes and people jumping up and down and coming out. I want to see the genius. When I watch New England, I see the genius of that team. When he's got plenty of time to throw the ball and he sits back and he's just Benikowski up the middle and who throws the ball down the middle at you? With a guy like that,
because no one's going to stop him. But that was our issue this year is we didn't have everything, but Denver had that. I think there's a secret weapon was just that defense. Like I couldn't believe Cam Newton is like Tom Brady isn't known for running around that much. Cam Newton's known for it, and they were just swarming him. And if you really think about it, the Super Bowls are about defense, but
So my point being that these two guys took their quarterback knowledge, and as a team, they thought together. Listen, if we get the quarterback, we could squeeze him. How many Super Bowls did he win there?
Just one. He went to two. He just won one though. But I got the Elway thing up now. So if you want me to go through his time as a Bronco,
Yeah, go. Just so you see the experience of what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday started in 1983 as a quarterback. His performance, Kubiak being behind Elway, this is fucking brilliant. This is fucking brilliant.
okay. So that he was there for 15 years, 83 to 98. Listen to this. They won 5 AFC West championships, 3 AFC championships, and then they went to 3 Super Bowls. Super Bowl 21, 27, and... No, I'm sorry, 22 and 24. And they won 24. That's crazy.
So they lost 2 Super Bowls.
Right. Yep, they lost to the Giants in Super Bowl 22.
And the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins, and then they beat the 49ers.
And who else? How many championships did Elway win? 1 or 2?
All I'm seeing is 1. Yeah. Yeah, he retired following the 88 season.
Okay. 98.
Right, sorry, yeah, 98.
Jesus Christ, you're reading it and you're fucking it up for the love of Christ. What am I going to do with you, cocksucker?
Who knows?
But that's what I saw yesterday. I saw something that started 30 fucking years ago. That they knew exactly how to win a Super Bowl. They had both been, Kubiak and Elway had been the 3 fucking Super Bowls together, plus the one Peyton Manning one that he lost.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about this before the game. Like, that was something I just neglected to even think about that I realized yesterday why it was 10 to fucking nothing,
Well, I think this was big for him because he traded away like the number 1 pick, and they had Tebow, remember, a few years ago, and they brought Manning in. If Manning came in and didn't win a Super Bowl, it probably would have been a waste.
So Tebow got drafted by the Broncos. This is how bad my memory is.
He got drafted in the first round by the guy who's actually our offensive coordinator. He went to Denver to be the head coach, drafted Tebow in the first round, and he was gone like half a year later. They hated him. But yeah, and Tebow actually brought them to a playoff game, which is weird. But yeah, he hasn't played since Manning went to the Broncos.
Wow.
He keeps signing on with a few teams. He played with the Jets a little bit. He played with the Patriots for like a preseason, but he hasn't done anything.
So how long has Manning been with the Broncos?
I think 3 or 4 years. I can check.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Check it out for sure. That's it. I didn't know that. See, this is the shit I don't know. I thought he was there a couple of years.
No.
Because I know he was out a year with neck surgery.
Yeah, and that was his last year in Indianapolis.
Oh.
And
so when they took him when he was bummed and hurt and shit. Indy got rid of him.
Right, yeah. Indy got rid of him, and that's when Andrew Luck came in. Let me see where he came in here. Yeah, he played until...
This is interesting. This is really... I didn't know all this. I thought he had been there like 6 seasons.
Yeah, he started in 2012, so I guess this is 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he
I
went
stop
there.
Smoking reefer. I really got to stop smoking reefer, dog. My time lapse is getting worse and worse.
Well, that just happens when you get older. But yeah, he went there to win a Super Bowl. That's the only reason he went there.
First year he was there, they went to the Super Bowl.
I think that was at the year probably against Seattle, because last year was us against Seattle. No, it was probably the second year, because I think it was 2 years ago that he went against Seattle, something like that. I can look it up, but yeah, they went just for that. It's pretty. I was thinking, I was thinking about the Super Bowl, how it really is important for like the quarterback and everybody to be on the same page, and how a good quarterback can get fucked up. Is there ever like a show like that for you, like a comedy show that has like you have all that pressure that you could be doing great, but it's a huge room or something that's just, and then it just doesn't go as well?
Always, Lee. Always. I had 5 good shows in Charlotte. I go to St. Louis Thursday night. I ate 2 stars or 3 stars. I teamed up with Joey Filato. I started talking shit, and I took away from my focus. My set was mediocre, Friday early, my set was mediocre. I didn't really get the patois of the room till Friday night late. And then Saturday early, in my world, was one of the best shows I've done since I taped the CD.
Wow. Is it because that room was a new room and you took a few shows to get used to it, or what was
No,
it?
no, no, no. It's just me. It all, I had a lot going on in my head. Sometimes you're not focused, you're not settled. Sometimes when you're getting beat up in jiu-jitsu, you have to do what? You have to pull back to the guard. You have to pull that guy back to your guard and get your breath and hold him there for a minute. It's the same thing with stand-up. There's a point where you have to take it right back to it. And sometimes I go up there and I go off script. Like not script, but I go a little too crazy. And then I got to reel them back in a certain way. And sometimes I can't get the words together. I got too high or too high on edibles. And sometimes you can reel them back in, and that's 20 years. That's the 20-year experience that a lot of people can't understand.
Because it was crazy. Because Cam Newton was 15-1, was blowing people out,
Blowing people out.
and now
And that's the problem. That's what I don't like, that you can't lose in the playoffs.
right.
So that's why I like the New England Patriots. They always lose the last two games of the season
Yeah, and they always
because
do.
you can't win all the time.
No.
I'd rather you go into that shit with a loss somewhere, like season 16, like game 16, than go 15-1.
Yeah, that's what happened to the Patriots against the Giants. Oh my God.
I fucking hate that shit. I want the feeling of losing so it never happens again. The Niners in 83, when they beat Dallas, or 82, whatever year that year, the reason why they were so good is because they lost. They won the first 11 games or something. Then they lost game 12 against fucking New Orleans in New Orleans, which they always lost. Montana couldn't beat New Orleans Saints. So next thing you fucking know, they were, 16-1. They won the Super Bowl. They were lost one game before they went into that playoff stretch. Because if you lose in the playoffs, you're fucked.
Oh, good. That commercial last night, the Super Bowl babies with the Giants. I still get upset thinking about that helmet catch, because when we were 17-0, fucking one at less than a quarter away from going to the Super Bowl, and what always pisses me off about Brady is that he goes for like the long ball, I think way too much. And I think that happened to Cam Newton yesterday, where he was throwing, like they said, he was throwing too hard, like that Ted Ginn couldn't catch it a couple times. And I'm sorry that I keep trying to bring it back to comedy, but it's just interesting how, like, if you try too hard,
everything, comedy, the UFC, football, basketball,
like if you reach for it,
an NBC show, a talk show, let me tell you something. You and I are having a great time,
right?
Now, when this is a great time, it's you and me, a camera, 2 pictures of you, a flag, some cameras. We got water in here. What if I put 35 people in here right now with fucking power booms and mics and cameras and 3 agents over there, and your 3 agents looking at you, taking notes, waving at you, and 3 more agents, and the fucking yoga teacher and your psychic mystic and your parents? How would this show be different?
It'd be totally different.
It'd be totally different, okay? So here's fucking Carolina.
Cam Newton, yeah.
Cam Newton and the team. A fucking great team. I watched that, bits of that game against St. Louis. The defense was phenomenal. He was fucking phenomenal. I've caught bits and pieces, replays, ESPN, whatever. Cam Newton. I know who the fuck Cam Newton is. But let me tell you something. Super Bowl week, something else happens. Okay? And I was thinking about it yesterday. Here your team is down 10-0. What was halftime?
It was it was close to that. I'll check.
Okay, let's pretend it was 10-3. No reason for you to check. Let's pretend it was 10-3.
Yeah, somewhere
you're
close
running
to
into. You're the head coach of Carolina. You're running in. You got to stop to give an interview. Do you know how much you want to give an interview at that point in your life?
0. I hate that interview.
Okay, you know how much. Do you understand me? So when you go to a fucking Super Bowl now, it's your mind is on the Super Bowl, but if 1% of the cameras, interviews, it becomes something else. I've said it 1,000 times. When Ronda Rousey got kicked in the head and she went down, when she was kneeling there and they were asking her questions, she wasn't in pain from the kick. She'd been kicked before. She'd been thrown before. She was realizing all the things she hadn't done.
Right, all the distractions.
All the distractions. All the things you haven't done. How easy it is to get distracted. I get 15 offers a week to be on different podcasts, and I love to do them all. The reason why I don't do them is because they take away from my podcast and they're distractions. I love to help people out, but if it takes away from our podcast, I can't really fucking do it. I love to do Joe Rogan's podcast every month. I can't because it takes away from what we're doing. I wouldn't know that unless I got kicked in the head 80 times. Yesterday, you said to me, why don't we do a podcast tomorrow night? Because I have a fucked up week because of Marin. We would have done a podcast last night. We would have had to delete it like we deleted 2 other ones this year because we did them in a hurry. My head wasn't clear. I never want to come in here in a bad state. And, Super Bowl week is 2 weeks away, which I fucking hate.
2 weeks. They have all that
2
stupid
weeks.
interview stuff
2 weeks.
on the field.
And who doesn't start shooting videos and who doesn't start doing, very few teams. When the Chicago Bears played the New England Patriots in 80-something and they beat them 1,000-3 that year. I remember they put out like a video of them dancing,
the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Of the Super Bowl Shuffle. And I'm like, look at these guys. But maybe being that relaxed got them to win. There was such a dominant team that being that relaxed. It's like the documentary about the Niners when they were marching downfield and Joe Montana said, hey, isn't that the actor John Candy up there? And they all stopped and looked at him. That took their mind off the game. It's 2 weeks. That's got to be hell. That's like if you said to me, Joey, you're going to shoot your special in New Orleans. HBO, theater, the whole fucking thing. But you got to go down there 2 weeks before. Can't be
have
around,
meetings about it.
Can't be around your family unless you fly them down. Guess what? That special's not going to work for a guy like me.
No.
Because I'm not going to be grounded. I need to be grounded. I like being home. I like playing dad. I like talking to my friends from high school for breakfast. I like calling Timmy on Monday mornings, Danny B is going to call up you. That's what keeps me grounded. Can you imagine if I had to go down there and do radio every day and not do my little spots at the store and not do my little spots at the ha-ha? It would be a different special. I know it would. As soon as the lights came on, the same thing that happened to me when I did Vegas. I wasn't prepared. There you have it. Did it ever happen? Fuck you, it happens. And that's what makes you better at what you do. Cam Newton's going to win a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, he's
Maybe
great,
not next year, but in 3 years. Next year, people are going to go to free agency, whose feelings aren't going to get hurt, who didn't get the ball thrown at them, because then you involve that shit. Yeah, we're going to come back and them white hoes are going to suck my dick. That's a long plane ride home to fucking Charlotte.
Could you believe the guy, I think it was a Denver guy who got arrested with his brother like 2 nights before at a motel in San Jose with prostitutes?
Did he play?
No, they sent him home. He was a practice squad guy. They said it wasn't him, but I don't know. I think his brother just took the fall. But a couple nights before, they've had that all the time where people go out before and they don't get to play in the Super Bowl. That's unbelievable to me. How you did you ever have to cancel a gig because you got too fucked up the night before?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I can't imagine going down there and getting busted in a sting. Super Bowl week, HBO did a whole thing about Super Bowl week and what happens to a town. What happens to an area? It gets bombarded with hookers, pimp. Focus is about pickpockets that go to the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, they just go just for the Super Bowl? Oh, my God, that's
and they
crazy.
pickpocket people walking around with camera lenses, taking pictures, tons of money, gambling. There's shit fucking going on Super Bowl week. I went to 2 of them, man. It's overwhelming. It was overwhelming for me that the second time I left. But I leave all the time. I don't like that many fucking people in one place. But it was very fucking overwhelming. I can't imagine for the player, for the tourist, 6 guys go down there, they see hot chicks, they're hookers. But didn't fucking Warren Sapp get arrested during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, last
And
year.
he's done, or the NBA playoffs, or fucking something. They got in trouble for fucking something, man. They're down there. That's what those hookers are down. They all the hottest hookers, like the hottest bitches that get 300, 400, 500 an hour here. They go down there because that's where the paper's at. That's where the guys that want to cheat on their wives and want to eat ass and get their balls lit on fire. That's where they're at.
It's amazing how we always hear, and you've said about how the economy's down, but I can't imagine being a hooker who's like, fuck it, it's the Super Bowl, let's go up there and get a hotel room and just make tons of money. We got a call coming in.
What's up, my brother?
You tell me, Coco.
Nothing. How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, Ooh, a little hungover, but coming around.
What were you drinking last night?
My usual Grey Goose and Fresca. You remember Fresca soda?
Fuck yeah, I love Fresca.
Yeah, you throw a little Grey Goose in that. Nice. You know, I found that years ago when I ran out of a mix at 2 in the morning. I said, let me try some Fresca. I was on a bender that night, and I haven't stopped since then. But it's Fresca and Grey Goose every night.
How you feeling, man?
No,
Good to
not
hear
every
from
night
you.
when I do drink.
How you feeling these days? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, everything's good, man. Everything's good. Had a little Super Bowl thing last night. Had Mario Cantone's buddy, his brother here, Joey.
Okay.
Oh, what a character, man. He'd lost like 30 grand last night on it. It's fucking nuts.
So let me ask you this, Danny. What did the line start at?
Well, actually, it opened up at 4, and it shot right up to 6, then back down to 5.5.
Right. When I was in Charlotte 2 weeks ago, the line was 6. And what was the over and under?
45 and a half. It closed at 43 and a half, though. So the money was on Carolina for sure, and on the under. But if you noticed, like, I don't know, an hour or two before the game, the line dropped down to 4.5. So some of the smart money came in last minute. Vegas cleaned up. I mean, this was a big win for them. I was just looking at some of the numbers. But my boy Joey got beat up, man. Watching him was better than watching the Super Bowl. He does his Oxycontins, his shots of Jack Daniels. Just watching him lose $30-something thousand in propositional bets. You know, not even the game. Who's going to score, how many sacks, all that shit. It was like pretty comical. But anyway, everybody's good, pal. How about you?
It's so funny how I was telling Lee in hindsight, you know. The real big gamblers just bet the fucking game or a total. Like, I love the under since on stage. I said it in Charlotte. I go, I don't know about the fucking game. But if you were going to make money on this game, the under, you could bet it and go to sleep and wake up and make the call and collect. Because both the defenses are good. And even if Cam Newton would have gone off, he wasn't going to go off 3 or 4 touchdowns. They don't want to throw the ball that much. They get intercepted. And the other guy's an old man. He ain't throwing no fucking 4 or 5 touchdowns. The other guy will put 2 touchdowns up and 2 field goals, and they're trying to squeeze it out. So defense had to be the fucking key. I couldn't believe I was telling Lee that this started, if you know anything about anything, this started in 1983 when Elway threw his first ball for Denver. Like, I'm watching this yesterday, and I'm going, Jesus Christ, how did I miss this? Fucking, this guy's the president of the fucking team. The Kubiak, who was his backup quarterback, is the coach of the fucking team. And they got the best quarterback, or one of the best quarterbacks of all time now on the team, and they're winning a Super Bowl with the wisdom that these 2 fucking horseheads got since 1983.
I always thought he is a horsehead.
Yeah, he's a horsehead. And Kubiak, I mean, is a fucking Momo. But that guy must have learned a ton about football being on the bench watching Elway all those years.
Well, he won a ton of Super Bowls as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
With Denver and somewhere else, too. And then he was the head coach at Houston. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's great to see people who put the fucking work in, man.
Yeah. And not for nothing, though, John Elway didn't age very good. He looks pretty bad. He looks rough, you know. He looks like 60-something. What is he, in his late 50s, mid-50s? He's Dan Marino's age, I think.
He's with us. He's 2 years older than us.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting old, too. Let me tell you, 53, what are you... What Lee, you're still in your 20s, bro. Right? You got a lot of life ahead of you.
27.
I told Lee that goes quick. Let me tell you something, Danny B. I got into an elevator. The hotel I stayed at in St. Louis, the beautiful hotel, but the elevators were mirrored all around. Brother, I have lost all my hair. The only thing that's keeping me together is this dip-de-doo up in the front, because everything behind that is one big bald patch. There's not even a yarmulke bush there, like the yarmulke bush the Jews get.
Oh, no.
I have burnt down.
Just take it down. Just go break like I did. I had to take it down.
Oh, no, I can't go bald. Yeah,
I took it down.
I still got a lot of hair left to go bald to shave it all off. Besides, I got an ugly head. If I'm ugly with hair, can you imagine me without hair? Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
You have to have a good head. Without the good head, you can't shave it. Then it looks like fuck. It does look fucked up.
I got stitches.
You have to have a good cranium.
I got stitches. I got old white heads from the 70s that were coke rocks that dissolved out of my skull. I used to get white heads in my head that would pop like a bullet hit them. Pop! from the fucking ingrown hairs in my head and shit. I don't ever want to see my head bald. But it's it's
you know
really
what? You make the most of it. You know, you do what you got to do. Speaking of him, that Mario's brother Joey, he's a character. You know, and he's got this unruly dog that just eats everywhere, fucking pisses on the floor. But he's got a head of hair on him. He's 50 years old, and it's like, my God, I look at him, I just want to borrow it. Like, let me go on that hair. I go to Hollywood, I'd be a star. That's the only thing stopping me, Coco, is hair.
It's genetic. Listen, with hair, it's fucking genetics. I feel, who I think about all the time? In fact, I spoke to James yesterday, and I said to him, you know why I called you, James? Because I was in the shower when I came out, and I was getting dressed, and I was thinking about what to eat. And for a minute there, I missed Glenn Hashway. And for people who don't know, Glenn Hashway is a kid that Danny and I grew up with who had a great deli, but he was going bald since the year after high school. And guys, it drove him crazy. It was a 30-year obsession. Every conversation you had with him, especially if you did a line of coke with him, was about his hair and how he was scared to do the surgery. But he had done everything: voodoo, massages, spray paint, and it's just genetic. Like Lee has a great attitude about it.
I've known from the time I was a kid. My cousin was completely bald at 24. My dad is completely bald. I like a month or two ago, I just started shaving it, and it's so much better. I don't understand why people.
A little facial hair takes away from the baldness, And I could grow hair. My hair would look so thin now and ridiculous. Like I wouldn't go swimming with it. If so, God forbid, if I'm in the car and you fucking had the window rolled down, I'd be screaming at you, "Fucking close the window, motherfucker!" I like John Travolta. My hair.
Oh, I used to hate getting pictures taken because of the thin hair. It's terrible.
Yeah, I look like Drago. I had hair like Drago, from the Rocky movie. But I took it down, I think, in 2000, and it was on accident. I was just trimming it, it's like, and then I went too deep, and it looked like I had mange. So I said, "Fuck it. What am I gonna do?" So I just said a little at a time, and I was like, "Fuck." Within a week, I was like, "All right, I can do this. I can pull this off." So it's all right to go bald. Go bald, my friend.
No. Like I said, I just need a few more years, and then I'll shave it down. But I still got a little life left in that scalp. I'm not gonna do the Neutrogena in my head. What's that shit they put in their hair? They take the pills.
All that crazy shit.
Yeah.
I tried Rogaine, you mean?
Rogaine.
That's for your face, Neutrogena.
I don't fucking know Neutrogena.
Actually, that was a big thing in the prison system. Fucking, they were sneaking in Rogaine. A lot of the guys that were using it on the street, that was one of the things the guards were bringing in, believe it, Rogaine.
I can't believe who gives a fuck about using Rogaine in jail. What do you give a fuck about your appearance?
You know what? Not everybody's doing a life sentence. They're coming home, some of them, so I guess they wanted to come home with hair. But everything's the same, man. We're getting some snow tomorrow or tonight, late tonight. We're just dropping Joey off at the bus stop. Jamie's doing that. The kids are home from school. But that's it. It doesn't stop for me, though. Everybody's done gambling. The Super Bowl's over. For me, it's just another season. I actually look at football as like amateur hour. Everybody drinks on New Year's. Everybody bets football. This is when the real guys come out. Basketball and baseball. So
college basketball is a big money in March for college basketball. Big money.
Yeah.
Big fucking money in sports.
I like my baseball. That's really where I feel I'm at my best personally. I had a pretty good. I started off horrible though. Honestly, September was just brutal. I couldn't do anything right, and it sucked because I had so many new, fresh clientele, good players, big bankrolls, and I just couldn't win. And then I put together a nice win streak. But it was a little too late because I killed my audience basically. But it is what it is, man. Football, that was a game to watch. I wasn't overly excited. I'm kind of glad they stuck at the can. I don't like the antics. Score the fucking touchdown, give it to the kid or back to the referee. What's that? Won't be pulling your shirt, kissing your biceps. I just don't get that. I don't like it.
Like I was telling you, for me it was very. Man, I left New Jersey in '83. When I got to fucking Denver, Elway was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Elway was a rookie.
That's right. You were there. You were there when he was a rookie.
Right there. We were talking about the last guy. I don't know if you remember this. I think, as a matter of fact, you were part of this. Marino was up at Pittsburgh, and we had that friend that would go up to Pittsburgh to visit our other friend that played for Pittsburgh, and they would bring Coke up there. And it became like a fucking weekly thing during the Pittsburgh games that this chick would go up there and bring coke to the dude, and all of a sudden I'm watching this thing the other day how nobody drafted Marino. Like they anticipated Marino to go higher, but they didn't because there was rumors. The rumors were he did blow. As a matter of fact, when I was shooting The Longest Yard, he was there interviewing Sandler for that HBO show Inside the NFL. And fucking Romanowski walked up to him. He goes, "How's that cocaine problem?" And they had to stop the cameras, and they had to do the whole fucking thing. That's a well-known, it's the truth. I mean,
you know what? I worked out. The first guy I worked for in the business, well, second guy, local guy here, went to Pittsburgh, played with Marino and all. So in the 90s, in the off season and stuff, they were always around. Marino, that whole Pittsburgh class, Hugh Green, Clengem. I forgot the other quarterback, Clengemi they had there, I think. Bobby Bukowski, Bill Moss, another animal. So we saw those guys all the time. They were party animals. The guy I worked for, Dennis Attia, he was a nose guard there. So when he got his money, he was showing it off. So we'd always fly the guys in, go to the casinos, and who was the other one? The big dude, the big guy played with the Saragusa, Tony Saragusa.
I mean, how come people?
He was another one around.
How come people keep inviting me on LinkedIn? I don't want to be nobody's friend on LinkedIn. I don't know how many times I got to tell people.
They're still inviting you on LinkedIn?
Still, and people who are important. Like people who I met with over
what is that? That
who the
LinkedIn
fuck?
thing? I get
Yeah, it's a website for people who think they're snooty. I don't want to be on Facebook no more. I'm a fucking, I'm a BAA fucking dick sucking. Yeah.
I just started using Facebook myself after years of fighting it. My wife was a zombie to it, still is, but finally she got me into the thing of it, and it's pretty cool. Got to hook up with some old friends, folk rock shows, people I haven't seen since Robert Fulton. So Facebook to me, I just started about 6 months ago.
I'm gonna tell you something about Facebook.
I'll never do it. I'll never fucking do it. I don't need nobody to know where I live. Who the fuck? And the first day I was on it, I got attacked by family asking me for money, and I just closed it down right away. I'm like, I'm done. Already they're finding me. So then I went back. I'm having some fun with it though. Who's like the folk rock shows? I can go on and on. So Facebook
Ronnie Selma, okay. The Avillos are cool on there.
Yeah, the Avillos.
Bartulovich is cool on there. A lot of kids from high school are really fucking cool on there. I talked to the Garcias, Kathy Moran's on there. Yeah. Abe is on there. I got Carlos. Yeah, I got Mike DeGuilme's on there. Carlos Quintero's.
Louis
Jerez. Whenever I go to Miami, Louis Jerez comes to the shows. And he's so fucking weird because he'll come over, give me a hug, and leave. He won't ask me for tickets. He won't tell me he's coming. Nothing. When I first joined Facebook, I got off within a week because it was too real. Everybody from North Bergen started popping up. But then it's not bad. But I will give you a piece of advice. Some of those people from North Bergen are going to send you their number and tell them to call them. Don't call them. Don't call them, Dan.
I've been invited.
Oh,
I've been invited already, and I stay to myself, bro.
Yeah, don't call them because it's 30 years ago. It's 30. I made some mistakes and called people, and then they got my number and would torment me for a year after that. It was fucking brutal. Don't give me a number, DB. Do not give me a fucking number.
I stay to myself, bro. Besides you, I really haven't seen many of the guys. I saw you and, traveled down to Miami and then Philly and whatever. But I haven't really seen many people. I went to Jason Abramowitz's Super Bowl party the first year the Giants beat the Patriots. I saw the
you gotta
crew.
Rub it into
was
poor
there,
Lee.
but
You got to rub it into poor Lee.
I was just talking that game still kills me.
Oh, really? Yeah. You know what? I needed New England in that game, believe it or not. And I was sitting in a house of Giant fans, but yeah, I stay to myself. I got it good, man. I got a simple life, man. I do well. I work hard. My office is down the block. My gym's around the corner. I don't go. I got the lesbians still. They're perfect. They drop shit. It's just a perfect thing for me here. But I do like to see something. I'd like to have one bash. So I'm putting together in November at the Sands my wife's 40th birthday party, and I'm going to throw a shingding. So I've already started blocking out some of the floors and stuff like that. So hopefully by then I'll see some of the guys. But they're coming into my neighborhood, though. I'm not going
Let me know the date. I got to go to Boston in November, so that's all I know for sure.
No, but yeah, she'll be 40. She's been really a good woman to me, so I'm going to throw a nice little thing for her. She never asked me for nothing. 16 years, Coco. I got a great wife, and I'm sure you can relate to it, you know. Supportive, my secretary, just everything. So I'm good, man. But I see some faces there that I say, you know, I'd like to hook up with them. You remember this time at the Midtown? And you start laughing, because we had some fucking laughs. If not anything, we laughed our asses off.
If I didn't laugh, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't laugh at that age, I would have been suicidal with what I was going through inside. So that's what kept me fucking alive, man. That's what kept me alive, you know, and just laughing at Joan Mary's. Somebody sent me a picture of Joan Timmy Holloway sent me a picture of Joan Mary's. He sent it to me. I didn't even see it for like a week and a half. And then he said, look at your text messages. I couldn't even find it. And I looked at like hidden fucking drafts, and I saw Joan Mary's. It's a fucking Spanish bar. But I looked at the front of it, and I looked at that window in front of Joan Mary's. And I remember how many nights during the week I would look out that window and think to myself, how am I going to make this change? How am I going to stop drinking on a bar on Bergen Line Avenue? One of the best nights I had there was it snowed like 2 feet of snow, and you couldn't get around. And I'm sitting there. Nobody could get Coke because all the Coke dealers their cars were fucked up. So we were just angered. Here I am drinking those vodka drinks with 8 ounces of vodka with Lila, and they fuck you up. And I'm sitting at the window, and I'm sitting there, and it's 1:45. And all of a sudden I look, and I see a guy. What's those skis? Cross-country skis, the ones with the dogs chase you, they look like tennis rackets.
Oh, snowshoes.
That's what this motherfucker had in North Bergen. And I looked at, and I'll never forget, I looked at Rago, and Rago said, fuck this dude. And the dude was by the light already, by the park. Rago was in hot pursuit of the guy. Rago tackled him and just started punching the guy.
And that's the thing. You can picture that, knowing Darren. You just like visualizing, because he was a madman.
Oh my God!
Tough fuck too.
Then he dragged him and he threw him into a snowdrift and covered him with snow. By the time we got there, because we're like, "Where's Darren?" We walked outside. He's calling the guy a fuck you. There's no cocaine. I'm gonna take it out on you. He beat him up and he ripped the flag from the VFW and put it on top of the guy in the snow. So we forget all about it. Guess what happens at about 2:15? Some coke dealer walks into Joan Mary's. Everybody buys a package. Everybody's power snorting. We start power snorting. About 2:45, the place is surrounded with cops. And the guy is sitting in the back seat defrosting. I will never forget us and I had like a gram in my hand, and the cop was one of Bobby Bender's friends. So I said, fuck it. I went right up to him before he threw me in the wall, and I put the coke in his hand. And he patted me down. He told me to get the fuck out of it. And that's how I got myself out of that mix with Darren Rago, out of Joan Mary's.
You know what was the classics? If you remember the Darren Rago and Kenny Edler fights, it seemed like every other night they were fighting. One would win one night. The next night, Kenny would get the best out of Darren. It was like, sure enough, 2:45. They're outside in front of the Midtown or Joe and Mary's. They were classics.
One guy with no teeth.
They must have had a dozen of those things. Very good. Very good fights.
I cannot believe that. You know, sometimes I play a comedy club, and people call me up, and they're like, hey, Cokes, do you mind if I bring my daughter? And I'm like, listen, man, how old is your daughter? And they'll tell me 19. I go, listen, I can't do it. And they can't believe it, Danny, because we were really 15 hanging out at Joan Mary's.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody would ever think a word to ask us for an ID. I'm telling you right now, Lee, 15 and 16, sophomores in high school, were leaving school and going to Joan Mary's. How people act now. You know how people go to work for happy hour? Ray Tabasco and Giuliano and all those guys, sophomore and junior year, would leave school and go to Joan Mary's and shoot pool from 3 to 6. Their after-school program was Joan Mary's. And Joan Mary's had this...
No CCD,
No CCD. They had a little circle. Remember, Danny, in the middle of the bar? They had a little container that had ham and cheese sandwiches, and it had a cover.
Yep.
And you would just take the ham and cheese sandwiches and have mugs of beer for 60 cents, 75 cents.
Yeah.
You would get
the scoreboard. Remember this? Good.
I don't remember the scoreboard. I was at Joan Mary's.
The one, that was on 76th Street. That Lila, the little, the lesbian, not Lila, forgot her name. That's where we started. Me, Mikey, Phil Pop, Bobby Banta, Paris. That was our first spot, and we were like 15 there. Joe Mary's we did in the high school, definitely. But, even in grade school, we were sneaking into that place. 8th grade, we pretend that we just got off of a job. We wear overalls, like we just got done loading
People
trucks.
wouldn't ask you for an ID in those days at all.
Yeah, but
At all, guys. At all.
They must not have cared because you guys
didn't care. There was
grader
no
in overalls doesn't look like you got off.
The drinking age was 18 though for
18.
us, so it wasn't that
so
far-fetched
15
that we could be 18.
Yeah, so
but 15,
it was 18, 16. You were in a fucking bar. I was at clubs in New York at 16. It was 18.
Studio.
I was in studio. No, not studio. I was like at CBGB's a couple times. I went to I went to see the Police at some rock club. I went to a couple bars at 16 in New York City. As long as you had shoes on and a nice fucking shirt, they let you in, dog. Shoes on, nice
that was
shirt.
True. Hey, Cook, what was that place we used to go up into New York State? Right across 9W. I forgot the name of the bar.
Cuckoo's Nest.
Cuckoo's Nest. Isn't that where Avillo plays a lot? I see him posting that a lot. I think he plays up there.
I don't know if that bar is still there. It's something else. We used to go to a bar up there because Monday nights they give you a fucking tub of beers for $1.
Yeah.
Like 8 Budweisers in a bottle for $1 in a tub.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Good times,
That's
man.
a college bar.
I miss those days. I miss it. I don't like today. I don't like the world today. I don't like all of this social media. I know it helps in a way, but I just don't. My kids, I haven't seen them since they got out of school Friday. Just on Xbox, iPads, just really, and they're only 6 and 11. It's like I'm scared for their future. So I'm like the old school guys, man. If there was a place I can go to, no cell phones, no computers, just fucking TV, MTV, and fucking, I'm good. Take me back to the 80s, bro. Put me in a time capsule.
The fucking phones with the long cord. So you could fucking
heavy, like a fucking army.
Yeah, the phone's in the kitchen, but you're talking in the bedroom.
I found it. I think it's in Alaska, but it's not Alaska. It's next to like one of those big telescopes, and anything will mess with it. So they can't have Wi-Fi and no cell phones.
I saw that.
I saw that
something
a couple days
town
ago.
where it's against the law to do it.
Yeah, they legally can't have Wi-Fi or cell phones. Has to be dial-up, or you're plugged directly into your computer, and they only have regular phones. And they went around and they asked some kids, like, is it hard for you not to have cell phones? And they've just never had it. They're like, it's not that big of a town. We find everybody if we need them. And I was like, oh, I guess Joey should move to Bennington, Alaska.
It's not
you know what, though? For us, we knew where to find each other. You know where Coco was, you know where I was, or this guy. Yeah, if they weren't at one bar, they'd be at another. Or at somebody's house getting ready to go out. We didn't have cell phones back in the early 80s. A couple of the drug dealers had, like Joel. Remember Joel?
He had pagers. He had a pager that was connected to his car. That if you broke into his car, his pager would go off. Because I tried to break into that car 1,000 times. Joel was the last coke dealer I beat in North Bergen because he was hip to me. He wouldn't give me an inch. At least you would go, Coco, you're not going to have $300 on Wednesday. If you want a gram, just take it, and you give it to me. Joel would twist my fucking arm, would bust my balls. I'll front it to you, but what time are you going to meet me? 11 o'clock? And he'd be there 11 o'clock for his money. That was the last guy I beat. Right? That was the last guy I beat in North Bergen. And I remember
was he driving the Porsches? He always had those
No.
Porsches.
At this time, he had like a VW, that popular Volkswagen, the Sirocco or something, and it had the back window you couldn't break into. And he would leave his coke. He would go into the city, but leave his coke in that car. And you don't know how many fucking times I wanted to break into that car, but his pager would go off.
Oh, I remember Frank Montarella beating the shit out of him on fucking Kennedy Boulevard down towards the Two Guys. You know, remember the Two Guys down there?
Yeah.
What was that? The Sears. What was that down there by the McDonald's? By
the German place. The German place.
Schützen Park.
Schützen Park. That's where I grew up, right down the block. It's Sears and Roebuck across the street, not anymore.
Yeah. But anyway, there was a gas station right around there. And me and Tommy Russo were driving by one day, and we just see Frank Montarella fucking mauling Joe. And we had some business going on with Joel, so we were in there, saving his ass, and because he had something. Well, I forgot what it was, but yeah, he was always a target. I always liked him, though. Me and him got along pretty good. He was always good by me, generous with me. A lot of the guys, but just, the memories are good. When I see their faces, I'm like, yeah, that was some good times. Sabatino reached out to me on a private message saying he's doing good. I'll keep you posted, and that was the last time I heard of him. Like he came in under his girlfriend's account or something. think he moved to North Carolina or South Carolina. Did you hear anything about that?
Nothing. That's one guy I love to see, but I'll never see him again. It's weird. I grew up with this kid that me and Sabs were good friends with, and when we were 13, he had a little sister, and his little sister had to be 5 or 6, and she was his favorite brother. She had 2 brothers, and they lived 2 doors from me. They were called the Specials. And the kids
remember them.
Yeah, Dominic. And Dominic and I were good friends, and he drowned on THC crystal and whatever. And I used to remember Vita as a young girl on the block and stuff, and she used to hang out with Timmy, whose dogs used to eat boulders and shit. Fucking crazy. And one day I was on one of the radio shows, and I got a call that somebody wanted to talk to me. It was Vita. It was 15 years ago here. I was on Lycus. And Vita goes, I'm living out in L.A., and I hear you on Tom Likas, and we hooked up as friends, and she goes to my house, and, she knows the baby, and she talks to my wife on the phone, and she's 40-something, and she left here kind of unhappy because she had been here for 10 years and hadn't met a guy, and then her dad was sick, and she went back, and the father died, and guess what? She became an attorney again, and she did a bunch of things. She called me Saturday night, and she got engaged, and I met the guy when I went home, and I'm really fucking happy. Like, the block came to rest, like we're all going to go to the wedding now, and she wants Mercy to be in the wedding party, and, this is old school Italian, so we'll be dancing, eating good. So I'm really excited that I'm going to have some peace down in Lower North Bergen, and I wish
Charles Court,
Sabatino. I'm a giving our terrace guy, but Sabatino was Charles Court. Sabatino was my brother. I'm a little upset with some North Bergen guys, and Sabatino is one of them because out of all the people in North Bergen, nobody helped me more than Sabatino. That Christmas, when the Ligios threw me out and accused me of robbing them and all that shit, I got really sick from the flu. And I woke up 2 days later, and I was at Sabatino's.
I remember that, 1983, right?
Was it 84? 84. It was. I remember waking up there like Steven Seagal in one of those movies where he gets blown up, and he wakes up, and the Indians are taking care of him and shit. That's the way I was. Sabatino's mom was making me soup, and
Steve, listen, refuge. I had refuge in that house many times myself, especially when I was going through tough times in the late 80s.
So it breaks my heart that he don't call, that he don't,
refuge there myself,
I knew his mother, I knew the father, I knew the sister. The mother was my lunch lady. Growing up, she always gave me an extra peanut butter and jelly. She always gave me an extra bologna and cheese. I knew the Sabatinos well, so he got mad at me in 1993 because Veneri had a party, and I said that if Robert Hoban was there, and he was a cop, and in front of Robert Hoban, I said, Sabatino, if the dogs were here, they'll die. Well, he called me a week later, and he said that DPW trucks were following him around North Bergen because I made that joke at a North Bergen party, and he got mad at me. So what am I going to do if he doesn't want to talk to me over a joke? Danny B, I'm going to call into your radio show next Thursday before I go to Las Vegas. So tell him the name of the radio show.
I record Thursday.
Right, next Thursday. Not this Thursday because I'm shooting Marin. But next week, the 18th, I'm doing Vegas. So on the 18th, tell him the radio show. Tell him the initials.
Oh, you got AM 570, LA Sports, they call it now. They changed it from It's AM 570 in Los Angeles. It's on iHeart. It's also on Fox Sports in Phoenix and other places in the U.S. But LA's been my bread and butter market. Every Saturday morning, catch me at 7 o'clock out there. And again, it's on iHeart. And I'm going to start my podcast up here shortly, once I get my technical guy back to work. You remember Andy, my guy Andy?
He hits me up from time to time. He's a good dude, Andy. He hits me up from time to time.
Andy's good. Andy's doing well now.
Andy's a good kid,
he got himself in. He did good. He found a career in this photography thing, and he's starting to make a name for himself around here. So
he's a good man.
He's a really good kid, but he just couldn't do the podcast. And once he lost interest, or I couldn't do it no more. So, but I missed it. I was having fun with it. But nothing beats the church, my friend. And it's always a pleasure to be on. And Lee, we'll have to get together one time. Never got a chance to meet you, but look forward to that.
Absolutely, Dan.
I'm trying to get out west, man. James was trying to get me out to Vegas, but timing, I don't think I'll make it. The kids, it's so...
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough, brother. It's tough.
Yeah, well, you know what? I got the thing is I got to do the radio show. I got to be in the office on the weekends to field the calls,
It's tough, brother.
complaints,
It's tough.
and everything. Yeah,
No,
it's
tough.
it's.
You're
I
preaching to
do
the
good
fucking
though.
choir.
Yeah, I work my ass off though mentally, but it's working, man. My kids are happy, just like you. You're providing for your family. You're working your ass. Nobody works harder than you. Honestly, out of all the people I know,
I love it.
you're the man. You're out there fucking paying your dues, and I respect you for that, Cope. And that's not easy to do what you do. You know, to be up there in front of people every weekend, you know, traveling, leaving your family. So, you know, I got to give you credit for that, pal.
We'll be in touch. I love you, cocksucker. Next Thursday, we're
Yeah,
on the
back
radio.
at you. Yeah, we'll keep in touch, man. I look
Next
forward
Thursday.
to it.
I love you.
Always a pleasure, bro. Lee, take care, and Coco, I love you, man.
Love
Be
you,
good.
brother. Thanks for calling in.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Let me give some shout outs here to these savages. PTRG810. Pedro, he always hits me up on Twitter. This kid, nice kid. Don Wrangler. Water Boxer making a nice picture of me today with Charles Bronson and Steve McQueen. Dalton Toombs, Lauren Rosenker on Facebook. I love you to death. Jesse Wright is the man. And Captain motherfucking Jones. Don't forget, February 19th, my birthday, I'll be in Las Vegas at the South Point Casino. And February 24th, I'm doing a showcase for industry. And I need you savages, excuse me, that was a little egg burp. I need you savages to come down to the Comedy Store Wednesday night, the 24th. I'm doing a little show there with some people. And hopefully you guys can come out and support that. And that's it. That that's what we're doing here. What else, cocksucker? What's up in your world? Your dad's been here. How's that been?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun having him. I did a couple periscopes with him. He's having a lot of
You
fun.
got him all sick with that fucking
Billy
Go food you eat, trying to blame it on probiotics. I'm telling you to stop eating tacos at that place. They got caught serving lizards in 2000 something. Even the YMCA people tell you they don't eat there. When you told me you were eating, I go, this fucking guy is attracted to bad food. That whole mall there, I wouldn't eat in that whole mall. That whole NoHo Diner, Greek place next to that Mexican place, and do you see what's next to that place, that bodega?
Yeah.
Do you see what goes in there?
No.
Go in there and park one day and see what goes in there.
What's in the bodega?
Just see the type of people that go into that bodega, and then tell me if you want to eat tacos over there. You understand?
Why does the bodega have to do with the
Because
tacos?
it's all together. It's all connected. They get products from that bodega. Maybe they get spam or something. Who the fuck knows? I'm just telling you, that's a scary ad. You give them that shit food from day one. You've been giving them shitty food. You threw them off.
No, we went and got sushi.
You got them sushi and stout. Everything else has been garbage. That Mexican shit. You got them that Thai shit.
I didn't get no. There was no Thai shit.
And you got that catfish fucking dumpling shit from down there that you take.
Delicious.
The fuck out of here.
He loves the dumplings.
Right now, there's little kids looking for their cat somewhere in fucking Venice. And right now, those fucking Koreans are jumping up and down over there. They got fucking,
I keep looking for them. There's still not a single stray cat.
Nothing.
I have to find one just to prove you wrong.
No, there's no stray cats down there. It's a joke, but it's an honest fucking joke. You know what I'm saying?
And he's coming kettlebells tomorrow.
Is he?
Yeah, he's gonna do that. It's been fun. It's been a fun week.
I got a fucking hell of a week this week. I got to shoot 3 days, and then I got an audition Tuesday. I got an audition Wednesday for a fucking Spanish show, which I'm not going to go into, you know. I still got to go to jiu-jitsu, do 2 of these. You know, I want to space it out. But it's funny that you asked about lights and choking. Listen, man, it's not even about choking sometimes. It's just you're not being you. And guess what? That's okay. Because if you were on fire all the time, you'd be Jesus. Right? Who's on fire all the time? Jesus. You cannot, that's okay. For years as a young comic, even when I went back to CU and took those classes, when I would have a fucked up grade, oh my God, it would be the end of the world for a guy like me. Because that's the last thing I want to do is not this. I didn't have anybody to disappoint but myself. When you go on stage listen, 20 years ago, I couldn't kick that special how I did recently. It would make me angry. But I'm older and I'm wiser, and I try to pass this on to you guys. Never to put something out that's not good of you. Whether you're an artist or a painter or, you're washing somebody's car, it's the little things, And what I don't like about that special was the little things that didn't get done. Not the big things that look good. Yeah, whatever, the lights, the stage, whatever. But there were little things on my end.
That are going to bother you.
That are going to bother me.
Right.
And for the $5, I'd rather not have it out there. That's the way I was raised. You know, I went somewhere a couple of weeks ago, and it's a new restaurant. And the guy bothered me, and I went down there. And it was a nice restaurant. The food was great. But guess what? There were 3 things that hadn't been done because he opened in a rush. And those 3 things are going to lose him customers.
And if he had
Do you
just
follow
done
me?
it,
Yeah. We get impatient and we do things sometimes. You know, you mow a lawn. If I hire you to mow the lawn, okay, I go mow the lawn. And I come down, I pay you, and I see that around the water things, you didn't zzz, 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 zzz. I'll never hire you again because I know you don't have the eye to detail. That's what I'm looking for.
You're looking for that.
You ever go wash your car?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the car looks great and the car smells great, but you go in and the guy didn't vacuum in between the seat and the middle.
Oh, kills me.
Or under the seat, there's a little piece of paper. That little piece of paper made that whole car look bad.
And it's. But do you ever find yourself? Because what you're saying is how you can have this attention to detail, but you can't hyper focus on it. I've trained myself now. I'll tell myself to slow down, because when things start going like that for me, I don't know what it is. My brain speeds up. I start going 1,000 miles a minute, and I'll have to if I keep going that way, I'll just run around in circles. So I've had to train myself to calm down and look at the small things, and then
there's always a center place. Everything, every art, everything has a center place. And I didn't learn that more with Doug. I tell you motherfuckers that jiu-jitsu improved my stand-up. And here's one of those positions, retaining the guard. No matter how beat up you're getting, he's trying to get around you. You got a hold of his sleeve. You got a hold of his thing. You retain your guard and you hold him again. You're in center. That is your center position. That is the that you're always going to go to. When you telemarket and you do outside sales, you have a script. Listen, you want to be a Swami from Salami and read that script like a fucking robot. You're not going to sell dick. So I understand your need to take it off the script, talk numbers, tell me how this is going to improve my business and how, without living without this, it's going to kill me. All this you have to tell me while you're in the boundaries of the script, because you're not going to do your effectiveness. So do you see with stand-up? Thursday night I went on stage and they were a conservative audience. They weren't going with me. They were giving me laughter and shutting down. I tell you, at the 18-minute mark, I was panicking. I was there for the first time. It was a new city. Once I went to my center and started going back to the material, verbatim, was when I got them back. Do you really think that I want to do material verbatim? No, but that's the point where I was. I wasn't getting them going outside the box. Saturday, first show, everything came together. I got them going outside the box, and I got them with material verbatim. I slowed it down. We get excited. A couple weeks ago, I got a call at 9:30 at night. Hey, the Pittsburgh Comedy Festival, And already I know it's a festival. So there's got to be a by the fucking way. Number 2, it's Pittsburgh. I mean, what are we going to go and do up there? Watch the Steelers in September? So do you understand? In my mind, I already did the math because of the wisdom over the years. I didn't buy the plane ticket. If I would have let you, you would have bought the plane ticket that night. We got to go. They invited us. I'm doing a seminar. You're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing until they make an offer.
Right.
Or whoever makes an offer. These are the little things you learn over the years.
How often does that happen? How often would you go to an audition, right? And they say, oh, we loved you, you got it. You go home, tell everybody in the world that you got it, and then someone else books it, or they cancel the thing. And you get too excited, and you can't tell anybody until it's already happened.
I saw Joy Falati that day.
Yeah.
Who I love to death. And Joey asked me in St. Louis, what happened with that dice thing? And I'm like, obviously I didn't get it. And he goes, well, I didn't understand. I go, listen, man, in my world, every day changes, and you take it for what it is. If you dwell in what you don't get, you won't dwell in what you are going to get. I'm sitting there last week sending emails back, writing jokes with music on. Nobody's home. And I got an email from Mark Maron, am I around next week? That's how quick everything happens. We went back and forth. Within an hour, I was working on the show this week. That's how quick. I didn't have to audition for it. But this is for all the other jobs I auditioned for. that I sweated out. That's how you have to look at things.
That they brought you in for a callback and didn't hire you.
Didn't get it.
Or,
You know, it's numbers. You're going to keep going in. All you have to do is keep believing, and eventually they'll call your number. You know, I'm going to go on audition tomorrow. I'm going to go on audition Wednesday. That's good, Lee, because now I'm getting numbers. If you go on 2 auditions, what are the chances? But if you go on 3 or 4 of them, you're in the game. Somebody's going to call you back. Boom, and all of a sudden, Baba, you got to read that one. They're going to call you in 5 times, and then that audition 2 months ago, they're going to call you back because they weren't ready at that point. They looked at everybody, and they're going to fucking call you back, you know. It's so weird how every fucking thing works, Lee.
Is it hard for you to prepare for 4 or 5 auditions in a week, though?
Yes, it's hard, but I'm going to tell something to people that's not just about... Some guy came up to me in Charlotte. He's going to build us an album rack.
Oh, cool.
And he says that he gets his own work, that he learned from the church. Any slick motherfucker that's in business today, whether you're mowing lawns, you're selling pictures, you're painting houses, you're doing construction, any slick motherfucker knows that the more people you talk to, the chances are higher of you getting a job. So if I'm coming over here to do an estimate for Lee in this office, I might as well knock on these 4 offices and see if they want the same thing done. I know they're going to tell me no. But
Right.
It doesn't matter, because the more no's I go for, I'm going to get a fucking yes. Or I'm going to get a no from 2 years ago who finally got that insurance check in the mail. But you have to keep going every fucking day. And that's what people don't understand, that yesterday was yesterday. Man, I lost that account. Fuck, $3 million. Could you imagine? Yeah, I could imagine. So guess what? If you had one out there, there's got to be another one. Go get it.
Right.
Go get your motherfucking paper. When I got Russell Athletics in 1991, and I was a dumb, fucking, coked up, beat up fucking comedian kid. I knew nothing about nothing. I knew how to sell myself a little bit. I knew nothing. And my friend Danny goes, listen, bro, there's a shirt that changes colors when you put it on.
Really?
Yeah, there was a shirt that changed colors. Your heat changed the colors.
Sort of like a mood ring or something.
Like a mood ring.
Okay.
It was a mood ring on a T-shirt.
Okay.
I forget the name of the shirt. People probably still have, and I've discussed this on the Rogan podcast. So let's say the shirt was like a purplish orange shirt, like a magenta. And you put it on, your shoulder would be green, your stomach would be bright orange, because different heat in your body.
Oh.
But to make a long story short, Danny came up to me and he goes, go to Russell Athletics and call him. So in those days, there was no computer. I didn't know how to fucking use a computer. So he got me the number of Russell Athletics. And I called him. And after like 4 phone calls, the guy called me back. And I said, listen, I went to May DNF last week, which is like Macy's.
Right.
And I said, I went in there, and this new line of clothing you have would look better if you put magenta neon. And the guy goes, that is a great idea. Send me I don't know what they called them in those days, an example. So I had Danny make up a thing. It cost him $22 of labor, and he sent it. The first order was 50 signs.
Whoa.
And they ordered 50 more signs, then they ordered 50 more signs. And I was getting like 200 a sign. I mean, it was amazing the commission I got. Something crazy. But after that, I went for other companies like that because I thought I had the answer and I didn't get them. You know, I think there was one other one I got. And in those days, I used to carry it like a badge of honor, what I didn't have. Meanwhile, I had gotten Russell Athletics on the phone. You know how many salesmen were creaming their pants in those days to get Russell Athletics on the fucking phone?
Yeah, and you just got
And
it based
some
off
fucking
of...
fat, coked up, I wasn't fat then, some spick ex-felon, I was just out of prison, happily called them up. You know, Lubes, the stutterer, has a story when he got out of college, he started selling insurance. And for a year, he didn't sell nothing. Can you imagine some kid stuttering his way selling? But one day, he went somewhere, and he goes, on the way out, he just had a feeling. And he went into this lumber yard, and he dropped off a package, and they called him a week later. And the lumber yard had 200 employees. And he hit the fucking jackpot because it's where he didn't think of dropping it in. Nothing happens for not trying.
Yeah, fuck.
It's like you're talking about the gym. You when you go to jiu-jitsu and you see a 400-pound guy in jiu-jitsu and he's doing hip escapes, after class, you better go up to that guy and give him a fucking hug.
Hell yeah.
And say, hey, and that's what makes that guy come back. That little hug will go, fuck yeah, those guys are counting on me, man. So what? I suffer a little bit. All that shit, you know, Elway and Kubiak and him losing the two, they all paid off in the end. You know, every piece of work that we do fucking pays off, Lee. Everything, you know. And I'm coming, a Saturday set early was just Unbelievable. I caught myself in the middle going, where's Lee with the tape recorder? We could have not sold this, but I would just put it up for free. It was that good, you know. You don't know when it's going to happen. All you could keep doing is keep working and making little notes and details. I started taping my sets a couple of weeks ago. I hate it. After 3 minutes, I press stop, and then I erase the fucking thing.
But at least it's 3 more minutes than you used to listen
But
to.
that's 3 more minutes I used to listen to, brother. Because I know in this new realm that we're at, that people come to see me, Charlotte and St. Louis, I can't go up there and fuck around no more. You know?
So what came together early show Saturday? Is it conscious or it's just the luck of the roll of the dice?
No, every 6 months, man, the universe shows you the results of your hard work. It really does, just to show you what you could do. And then it takes it back, and it pisses you off. Fuck, Saturday's late show wasn't like the first one. But as long as you know you could do it. It's like when you go over to kettlebells now, and you swing the fucking 71-pound on it, the fucking big gorilla. You know, 3 months ago, Lee, you couldn't pick that up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
5 months ago, you would have called me the next
And
day
swing
and been
it
mad at
10
me and said
times.
your back hurts. But you kept going. And the form, I remember the first week we picked it up, we both did it 3 times. Remember, like 3 or 4 times. Now we're doing it 3 sets of 10. That's okay for right now. That's all you need. I'd rather do it good form than throw her back up and get hurt. But sometimes the universe shows you the results of your hard work. They really do. And for a moment in time, you see it. And then it takes it back just to make you work a little bit harder. And I love that. I fucking love that. I love when I go to jiu-jitsu and all of a sudden I hear the clock go off and I'm on my back and the guy hasn't done nothing. That means for 5 minutes I held this guy. So what if I held him? What if I didn't go to jiu-jitsu? Nothing would have happened.
It doesn't frustrate you that it never seems like the work's over ever. Like what you're just saying to me, it just sounds like obviously you want to keep getting better, but when you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do all this fucking hard work and then I'll enjoy it at some point. But it just seems like it's never, even when you retire now, people aren't retiring, so it's hard to wrap your head around that it's never gonna end.
When I was your age, and I hate to sound like this, I always thought, and I see it in people today, I always thought that life was a one-hit wonder. That's what I wanted. I wanted to do something like most Americans and rest their laurels on that.
Just do one good thing
and God damn it, that's not going to work. It's like if I walked into this room right now with a fucking longest yard shirt on, you know, and said, you know, this is what I did 12 fucking years ago. You're still on that fucking laurel. Your laurels change every fucking day. You got to wake up and be a little better, you know. My life came together when I realized that this was about hard work. We don't want to imagine it. We think that good-looking guy with the boat and the Corvette, he just got that. Every loser, like I did, thought that at 21, that to have a Corvette and nice hair and the white shirt and the chain, your father had to be rich. That's the shitty excuse I made myself because I had no parents, so I made myself that excuse. The reason why he's successful is because his father has a fruit store and gives his a job. I'll never have that. That's what I kept saying to myself. Really.
A good excuse.
I always had a great excuse. Everybody always has a great fucking excuse. And boy, did I have a great excuse. The reason why Lee has what he has is because he has a mommy and a daddy. Since I don't have a mommy and a daddy, that gives me the right to rob people. That gives me the right to snort coke. That gives me the right to act like a fucking savage. You know what I'm saying? That's how when I fucking realized at 28 or 29, when I got out of that hole, because no matter whether it was a country club or it was a hole, when I got out of there and I realized that, so you got your degree now. So what happens now? That's fucking shitty, dog. That's shitty. Because in high school, all they kept pushing about was your degree. And you told yourself some bumfuck story on how I'm going to be a lawyer. But now your fucking stupid words are becoming a goddamn reality.
Yeah.
And boy, is it fucking scary, Jack. It's fucking scary, Lee.
And it never ends, and because then
ends.
You get a new job.
Get a new job.
And
now
you have people under you. Oh.
Now you're building furniture. I can't. When you told me that story, I want to hug you. That's the only story I fucking feel bad for you.
Really?
How a young man goes to Emerson College, gets a degree in editing.
Yeah.
And editing basically comes out here, comes to work in Hollywood, and somebody makes you build a chair.
And you know what? I fucking hated her, but it's
I
great.
would have I think about you all the time, and that's why I don't like you doing a lot of things around here. I'd rather do them myself because I would never embarrass somebody. If I had a degree and somebody made me build lawn furniture or a table, I would die. My pride, if I sank, how much was your education? This is
Over
not
$100,000.
This is not 4 years on a job. This is not like you going to me, okay, Joey, before you could do the podcast, I want you to go to WKNZ and clean toilets, paint walls, go for coffee, take shit from the comedians. You know the job.
Right.
You know the fucking job, Lee. We all know the fucking job. But there comes a day in your mind you go, it doesn't matter because this is going to end. In a year and a half, I won't have to do this. Oh, shit, in 6 months, I won't have to do this. Oh, shit, in 2 weeks, I won't have to do this. So I can't imagine paying $100,000, going to Emerson College, coming out here, getting a job as an assistant editor, and for somebody to say to you, oh, by the way, tomorrow you got to go to Kmart and pick up some tables and then come back and build and put patio furniture together.
And I did. It was nonstop, and it was that show had VHS tapes for the writers for all the clips, and they kept them in the basement, in the worst storage facilities. It was underneath the parking garage, and our system went down once. So me and 3 or 4 other interns and PAs or whatever it was had to carry hundreds of VHS tapes upstairs, bookshelves, line them up against the wall, put them all in order so the writers could do it. All this knowing that in 3 weeks the system was going to be up, and it was going to all that work was for nothing. And I hated my boss. I hated her. And it's like what you were talking about with jiu-jitsu, and you used to dread going in. I used to dread going into that job, but it's, and I don't know. I think it really helped me. I think it really, because leaving high school, I was the top video guy in my high school. That's all I did was the video. You go to college, and it's a little bit of a shock there because then everyone in that college is the top video guy from their town.
School, right.
But then you come here to LA, and it's just, there's always, and I think I spoke about it a couple weeks ago. There was another PA lawsuit or intern lawsuit against someone saying they made people shit in their car. They worked 12-hour days. That's what you come here knowing you're gonna have to. That's what when you say that some comedians leave. Half of my Facebook feed now for people in LA are people who went home, who were assistant editors and went home and did all that stuff. And I'm happy that I had those. I hated it. The worst one was blinds like these. The boss made me come out and close all of them just in the office just because I wasn't doing any. What I would do was, and this is what I tell everybody to do. I went to the head guy in the office and I would just hang out with him. When I had any downtime, I would just sit and watch and would look at what he was doing and ask him questions. And then it's exactly what you were saying. He would have me edit. Like during his lunch break, he would want to take a nap. So he'd have me do some editing, and I was losing my mind. I was so happy. And she would come in and do, build this furniture. Oh, close these blinds. And you're right. If I had just went out to LA and because there are some kids who get this, who get their dream job right away, I don't think it would have been as good for me. It's fucking, God, yeah, those times used to kill me.
They killed me, and I didn't have a college education. When I went into, TGIF, I don't know if it was TGIF at the time, and I'm like, I want a job bartending. They're like, you have to come up through the system. You have to start as a fucking cook, like an assistant cook. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy? And they gave me a menu, and they wanted me to study it and take a test.
Right. And then what about like after you got passed at the store, and then you're still getting other clubs being like, oh, give us a tape. Or oh, you have to feature. What are you talking about? I just headlined here. Or there's always people who want to bring
see,
you
when
down.
it came to that shit, I always went for the work. You know what?
Yeah. That's exactly
I was
the point.
the type of motherfucker that said, oh, you don't want to headline me? Good, I'm not ready. But who's the headlining that week? Let me come in there for that short money. I'm going to rock your fucking world. And I would make it a point to fucking go up there and rock their fucking world so that even the headliner was like, I'm not following this guy no more. But that's a great point because that was the shock that I had. That shock took me a year. I'm not going to lie to fucking no. That shock took me a year finding out that, hey, you're 30, you could steal the rest of your life and end up in jail, or know this, that whatever you decide to do, after 5 years, you're just getting started again. And after 10 years, you're just getting started again. And after 15 years, getting started again, because no matter what you choose, okay, you're an electrician. After 4 years, you become a fucking journeyman, okay?
Okay.
And then after 4 more years, somebody's going to hire you as a top journeyman to run all the crews, to inspect the houses and shit, like to be the top guy. Then after 5 more years, somebody's going to hire you to be the general manager of a shop. And you got to prove yourself all over again. Do you understand me? There's levels of your job that if, you always have to keep rising to the occasion.
And at each level, I would always feel like I want to go back to that old job, right, where you're safe.
Well, yeah, you
and
have no
nothing's-
responsibility.
Right, yeah.
We're all scared of responsibility. So, bro, I didn't want it. No, I wanted, like everybody else in America, I wanted $40,000 a week. I wanted you to teach me, and I wanted to work 8 to 5. That's what I wanted to do. You know what? Make it 8 to 4. Why make
With an
it
hour
5?
lunch?
Yeah, an hour lunch. That's what I wanted. But once you realize the cold realization that you never fucking stop, and you don't want to. If you're 24 right now, and you're 34, and you're listening to this, and you're 44, the best thing about this conversation is that you know this, that just to keep you interested. What if you just had a job that you put the cover on mustard?
Yeah.
Do that.
On an assembly line. Oh my God.
And it doesn't get no better than that. You know what you might do after 10 years? They might make you pack the mustard in a box. And that's it. Until you're 65, you work at the mustard plant. Not a bad job. Insurance, you're not going to jail. You pay your taxes. You have a nice family. You can raise your family on it. But see, the difference is, like, you have no, you're not challenging yourself. I couldn't imagine a life without challenging yourself every fucking week, once a month, something. That's what makes you know you could go there.
But you only know that at the end of it. Like that's a hard
Oh,
part.
please.
Like at the
I got
beginning,
this
you're like,
6 years ago. Well, when I decided to get into comedy in 1994, when I really put my heart into it, and I said, this is what needs to be done, I was 31 years old. I was 3 years of putzing around. I was 31 years old when life hit me in the face. When I knew that if I went for this, I got to go for this. Like, there ain't no turning back. Like, at least give me a job. I could probably get a job at the sports betting and work 6 months a year and stay here and raise my daughter and stay in a little apartment. And, I don't know my drug situation. I don't have any value on my life at this point. Or I could really fucking challenge myself and go for the stand-up. Lee, it's a mental, once you know. And it happens to people every day all over the world where they come to the realization that this is it. And this is as good as it's going to get unless I decide.
Unless you decide to put the work in.
Because maybe I have a job as a production assistant for you. But guess what? After a year and a half, you're sick of this shit. That fucking dude that sits over there, you're way better than him. But you got to convince Joey Diaz that you're way better than him. So guess what? He wants me in there at 7. I'm going in there at 6:30. Every time he flubs his fucking line, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to do this. And someday I'm going to take his fucking job. And Lee, once you just think that, once you think that inside, and you put that out, and you're frustrated, and you start doing that, one day you're going to come in and go, did you hear what happened to Bill? No. He put his 2 weeks in. And I got to go to Europe, Lee, for 2 weeks on tour. Looks like you got the job, Lee. Well, we'll hire somebody when I get back. Well, guess what you're going to do those 2 weeks? You're going to be the best Lee you've ever been. You're going to make me money. I'm going to come back and you're going to go, guess what? Some guy came in and I got him for $3,000. Because you want that job. And that's what Americans have forgotten. That's how you get that job.
And you have to...
By stepping up to the pump.
And you have to step up earlier. Like, if you had waited until that 2 weeks, then it's too late.
You got to make it. It all works on you. But what happened? It all happened in your mind first. You said to yourself, you know what? I saw fucking Bill's paycheck.
Oh, that's always the worst. When you see someone else's paycheck and you...
I saw Bill's paycheck. No, he's a fucking moron. It's over. And I got 2 options: to go somewhere else and start from scratch. Because now I know what the outcome is, and now I know what I need to do. I'm better than Bill. I'm way better than Bill. way better than Bill. I could do this job on my fucking head standing up. Fuck Bill.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Bill will come in one day and give us 2 weeks' work. How his wife has to go back to Chicago. And there you are. You know what?
Ready.
I got to go here. Lee, I don't know. We'll talk about it when I get back, Lee. Just book the guests, and I'll come back. I come back. This place is running good. It smells good. I ain't going to hire Bill. You're going to make your case first.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
got to say, listen, I want this job. And I know Bill was making $4,000 a month. Give me $35 to start. Just put it to me. And I guarantee I'll fucking run this thing like Warner Brothers. Better than Bill. And you know what happened to Bill? Bill got stagnant.
Yep.
Bill didn't get challenged anymore. There was no challenge. He put a ceiling over his income himself, not me. He was content with that. That's what happens. You're content with that. That's what I never wanted. That's what I learned in Colorado up there early. That people had gone up there to ski when they were 24 for a year. And all of a sudden they were 40 and they were still working as managers somewhere. And time is a motherfucker, Lee.
Time and comfort and
Time goes by fucking fast, my friend. Really fucking fast. Real quick, motherfucker.
0 to 100. Here you go.
0 to 100. What do you got over there, Lee?
I have Ring and I have Club W.
All right. This is a nice podcast. I had a nice time with you. It's been a long time since we did a morning one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You got nice and baked. I could tell by looking at your fucking face.
You have to get
You
big.
got, that was nice reefer. I like this new office. I like smoking in here. I like being in here. This is a nice feeling, man. It's better than the other place. I'm more comfortable.
Oh yeah.
I'm more at fucking home. You know what I'm saying? What do you got there, Lee, for your Uncle Joey? So, yeah, that was interesting yesterday. And that was, I just wanted to talk about my fucking experience with the Super Bowl yesterday.
Absolutely.
For me. I never watch football, and I don't know, but you fucking know. To go to a Super Bowl, you need defense.
And just to wrap up what we were just talking about, that's when I really saw it yesterday because I didn't have a dog in the fight in the Super Bowl, and I was just watching it, and I was just sitting there like, I had to take a couple stars just because the game was a little bit boring. I was like, wait, this is what he's talking about. And like, who cares what happens with the game? It doesn't really matter. Like, it took me. I had to see it because when I'm watching the Patriots game, I want the Patriots to win.
Right,
I get
you're
excited.
watching it from objective. You have some mistake.
I was watching this game. I was like, wait, why am I sitting here for this? It was a long 4 hours. I finally
fucking
could see what you're talking
concerts.
about. Yeah.
The halftime was horrific. You know, the music, people were pissed online. I went online for something else. And that's what, because I woke up, went and saw the game, and then Mercy was asleep. So I had an hour to send emails back, you know. Somebody hit me up for dates on something. So I had like 10 emails to send out. And I had to finish some paperwork. I wanted to plan out my week and see how I was going to do it. You know, with the 3 days of work I didn't know how I was going to adjust my week. So I was trying to plan it all out. And then I was on Facebook and I saw the fucking thing is horrible. And then I ran out there and caught 3 minutes of it. And it was horrific. It was horrific.
I came back and they were flashing back to Michael Jordan for a second
Yeah.
for no reason.
And I said, fuck it. It's just bad. But then I would go, and then Mercy woke up and we ate dinner. And I would go out there every 10, 15 minutes and see the score. And then Mercy wanted to go in the bedroom and jump on the bed. So I finally came out and they were 24-6 or 24-7, I knew. And that's when, you know, I was putting it all together in my head about what had happened. But listen, man, football's entertainment. And like I said, for years I watched Thursday 3 hours, Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 6 hours, and Monday 2 hours. That's 20 hours a fucking week of football from September to November. I ain't mad at nobody for doing that. That's your prerogative. But you got to ask yourself, what else could I be doing a little bit? You have to sacrifice some of it. You know, maybe I'll work Saturday and tape it. That's all I say. I don't hate football, nothing like that. I just know there's times I'm sitting there and I'll tell myself, wait a second, I got work. I
Yeah.
got fucking work, Jack. I can't be fucking sitting here like Zombo watching some fucking football game. You know?
Especially in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I can be watching something else. Anyway, I had a good time today. I'm happy we did it at 9 in the morning. It brings out a different fucking side of Uncle Joey. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we've all been there. You come home after a long, exhausting day at work, and all you want to do is sip on a glass of wine and just fucking relax. But unless you've planned ahead, you probably don't even have a bottle in your house. You already spend enough time wandering through the grocery store, getting lost in the wine aisle. You'll just end up picking out a bottle based on a label you don't really understand, and you get home and open it, and you realize you don't like Chardonnay as much as you thought you did, okay? It's just a pain in the ass, especially now. They have wine everywhere. They have wine at 7-Eleven now?
Oh, yeah.
So they got wine everywhere, and nobody knows what to do unless you're one of those guys with the pipe and the fucking sandals that that Chardonnay goes with this and what to eat with this. Well, at Club W, you'll never have to worry about being wine-free again. Club W is the revolutionary new wine club that sends you wine directly to your door. Ready for this? Saving you all those trips to the grocery store. Just like Blue Apron, right to your door. Not only does Club W send you wine, they send you the wine that you'll love drinking. How they get this started is Club W's easy 6-question quiz figures out your palate. So every bottle you receive is perfectly tailored to your taste. They just ask you if you like lemon, the taste of orange. They ask you questions like that. Club W is also the leading grape-to-glass wine revolution. They work directly with vineyards to cut out the middleman, which saves you money. If you go to a liquor store, that guy's making 20, 30, 40% on you. The wine's already there. Don't worry about that. Club W even offers you a no-risk money-back guarantee that you'll love what they send you. That's not money back. Club W even offers you a no-risk guarantee that you'll love what they send you. So do me a favor right now. Club W is offering my listeners 50% off your first order when you go to clubw.com/Joey. Again, Club W is offering my listeners 50% off your first order when you go to clubw.com/Joey. Don't ever come home to a wine-free house again. What happens if a freak shows up? What happens if you go out and you pick up a victim? You always want to have some wine in the house or something to seem very interesting. So do me a favor. Go to clubw.com/Joey and get 50% off your first order. That's clubw.com/Joey. I'm telling you, you're going to love this wine because they make you take that little test and they send you a card and they send you the recipes and the meals and whatnot. So, I mean, like for the 2014 Chop Shop Cabernet Sauvignon, okay? When? Backyard barbecue. How? Room temperature. Grapes, Cabernet Sauvignon. The origin, Paso Robles, California. Smells like strawberry, rhubarb, plum, dry earth, caramelized orange peel. Alcohol by volume, 14%. It doesn't get any better than that. Go to clubw.com right now /Joey and get 50% off your first order. And while we're talking about security and wine and what's at your house, fucking Ring. Unbelievable. Over 90% of break-ins happen during the day. This is the sound of a package being delivered or friends coming over for dinner. But it's also the sound of somebody planning to rob you blind. And burglars almost always start by ringing your doorbell to see if someone's home before they pillage your possessions. When I was a thief, I always started by ringing the doorbell a couple times just to make sure. You can never be too sure. With the Ring Video Doorbell, you can see and talk to anyone at your front door from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. Ring's advanced motion detector alerts you even if someone doesn't ring the doorbell. It's like the caller ID for your house. With Ring Video Doorbell, you can talk to delivery people and keep an eye on your package. If someone tries to mess with it, you'll get instant alert and the HD video, the whole thing. So you got this motherfucker on tape. It's like having a neighbor keep an eye on the house for 24/7 without the judgment. Please share anyway, I got no fucking personal stories of somebody trying to rob me. But I used to be a fucking thief. And this, if you have this will fucking cut 50% off because when they ring, boom, it comes right up on their phone and people will answer you like they're right in the house. So they won't mess with you and they won't mess with nobody in your neighborhood because they know you're somewhere in that goddamn house. So this not only benefits you, but it benefits the community you live in. Do me a favor. Installing the Ring Video Doorbell takes about 5 minutes and it works with either your current wiring or built-in rechargeable battery. Put your mind at ease and protect your home with the Video Doorbell. Time Magazine and USA named one of the top 10 gadgets of the year. My listeners get free expedited FedEx shipping when you go to ring.com/church. That's ring.com/church. With the Ring Video Doorbell, you're always home. All right, so do me a favor. Go to ring.com/church and never, ever forget on it. Never. I don't have enough praises for on it. I don't have enough praises on it. I smoked pot with somebody this weekend. On the way back, I was feeling shitty. I took the Shroom Tech Immune. The cold is gone. I didn't want to be sick to shoot a TV show or be sneezing or be making that disgusting noise with my neck I make when I get fucking cat hair in my throat.
The same one.
On it in the winter is tremendous. Just the Shroom Tech and the Alpha Brain will fucking set your winter straight. Never mind the hemp protein bar. Never mind the hemp protein powder or the
Shroom Tech Immune,
the Shroom Tech Immune, the Shroom Tech Sport. Never mind the jerky they have, which is delicious. I tasted a piece of it the last week. Listen, go to onnit.com right now. Do yourself a favor and look at the great selection of products that they have. You know, from the Shroom Tech Sport to the protein powder, the chocolate, the hemp protein. I recommend that protein more than any other protein in the fucking world, the hemp protein. I love that chocolate. And the acai vanilla, I love all that stuff. In fact, I'm going to leave here, go home, have a banana, and go do the fucking jujitsu on that little protein. That's how I roll, Syatt. So do me a favor. Go to onnit.com right now
/church
and get 10% off your first order delivered right to your motherfucking door, okay? Who loves you more than Uncle Joey? I want to give another shout out to ring.com/Joey, ring.com/church. I also want to give a shout out to clubw.com. Go over there for the fine selection of products that they have to offer you. And also a shout out to Onnit and my main man co-host, Syatt, who for some reason didn't need an edible today, but he looks as fucked up as ever. I don't know.
I'm still fucked up from last night.
You're still fucked up from last night? Well, you
yeah.
got to get it together.
You got to have a couple. So you're at the South Point, and then anywhere else coming up?
I'm at the Comedy Store February 24th, my brother.
Perfect.
And that's it.
All right, and check out my podcast, Life in Neutral with Johnny Rock. This podcast is brought to you by Onnit.com. Go to Onnit.com and use code word church to get 10% off all of the great optimization products like Alpha Brain and New Mood. Let me just do this real quick. The show is also brought to you by Ring.com. With Ring Video Doorbell, you're always home, and our listeners get free expedited FedEx shipping when you go to ring.com/church. That's ring.com/church. And go to clubw.com right now and check out all of their great wines that they offer. And right now, they're offering our listeners 50% off of your first order when you go to clubw.com/Joey.